First of all, we must be always self-sacrificial. We must realize that we are called to be sacrificers. That is our reasonable service. We make a sacrifice of ourselves. As Christ laid down his life for us, so too must we be willing to lay down our lives for others. 2, we must be worshipful and prayerful at all times. Our work must be worshipful and constantly centered in prayer, calling out in the name of Christ, remembering who God is and how sinful, needy, and tiny we truly are. We are nothing. He is everything. Whatever we do for the glory of God, remembering that our highest calling is always to glorify him. It is for his glory alone that we exist. 3, we must always be thankful. Our work must be thankful. The life of Christ is one of gratitude, and as a Christian, we are focused continually upon the Eucharist, thanksgiving. This is the gratitude of grace for that which we have received, and our actions should always flow from this heart of thankfulness. 4, it must be gracious and concerned with the salvation of others. We must always be mindful of the salvation of others, for this is the true work of the church and of all Christian believers. Every Christian believer is a missionary, is an evangelist. We cannot be consumed only with our own personal success or comfort. We must care for the spiritual needs of others and willing to sacrifice ourselves for them. 5, we must use our resources as stewards for the blessing of families, churches, and missions. Like St. Joseph the caretaker, we must be focused on gathering together resources, putting them in a way that is useful and practical and helpful, and then using those resources for others. Our material resources should be used wisely and for the good of God's kingdom. This means caring for our families, supporting our local church, and advancing the mission of the gospel to the world. And this is our active participation in every aspect of our lives. 6, allowing for personal spiritual growth and sanctification. Finally, our work must allow space for our own personal growth and holiness. We must be able to find silence. Whenever we are unable to find time to pray, to read the scripture, to have appropriate silence, we know that we are not in the will of God. Because whenever we submit to the tyranny of the urgent around us, we are removed from the grace of God. If we are too busy or too distracted by worldly concerns, we will lose sight of the inner transformation that Christ desires for each of us, sanctification and holiness, which he demands of us, and theosis, which is the ultimate goal of all Christian life. Anything that makes us less holy is not God's will. We know that from the beginning. Anything that makes us less holy is not God's will. And we can confidently turn away from such opportunities and plans, knowing that holiness is the point of life.